Good morning, my felty friends. Well, it's good morning where I am in Devon. It's lovely and sunny this morning. I'm going to do a tutorial on a little fairy sitting in a ring or a garland as a Christmas decoration today. My apologies for no tutorial last week, but I was quite poorly with a sore throat, and you can probably still hear it in my voice now. And not able to speak very much, so I didn't do a tutorial, but I'll make up for it this week with our little fairy sitting in a ring. I have here an armature that I've done previously. You've seen my armatures on my mouse video and on the robin video, and this is very similar. It's just basically a straight up and straight down, twisted in the middle, and the arms are done like the mice arms were done, but I've twisted that bit around it just to keep them in place. So it's all nice and bendable, and she'll be able to sit in the ring and look pretty. But what I am going to do that I haven't done before on my armatures is I'm going to wrap some skin coloured or flesh coloured wool around this to make it look a little bit less lumpy. On the mice feet are very wrinkly, so this effect is quite good for mice and rats. But on a human person or on a fairy, you're going to want something a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to show you how I'll wrap the wool around this to make her legs look a little bit smoother. But in order, what I do personally, or what I find easiest, is if I'm going to wrap normal felting wool around wire, I always find it's easier to do at least one layer of yarn around there first, because then you've got something to felt into. So you've got something for the needle felting to actually grip to. And also, it helps protect the needle if you should happen to touch the wire, because you know, we know how easy it is for needles to snap when you hit the wire armature. So this just gives me something that I can, where's my needle? I use this one, that I can actually go into down the sides and lock the needle felting wool onto the actual body so that it stays put. Okay. So I'm going to use my thicker gauged wire to make my ring, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind it in wool, in yarn, like I explained on the legs of the fairy, just so that when I wind normal wool around it, it's going to give me that extra grip. So I'm going to measure this, just estimating it, how big I want my ring ready for her to sit in. So she's going to sit in the bottom there, and I think that's going to be a big enough ring for me. So I'm going to chop it off there, so it gives me a little bit to twist round, and I will measure that on my ruler to give you an idea. Oh, there we go. So it's going to be 300. So it's about 23 centimetres. No, it isn't at all. It's about 53 centimetres long. Okay, just roughly. Okay, so here's my ring. I'm going to twist it round. And then that bit can be the actual bottom, because there will be more wool around, more felting done around the bottom area, so that will keep these ends in and disguise the fact that it's a bit thicker. Okay. There we are. I'm not too worried about making it nice and round just yet. But it's not too bad. Now, because I'm going to cover this with felting wool, possibly red, I'm going to use just any wool that I've got a lot of to do the base wrap, because that's not going to be a problem. This is probably the thickest stuff that I've got, so a thick wool would be ideal, and I don't use this one so much, so I'm going to use this one to wrap round. I'll start off by tying my knot. You've all seen me do these wraps before, so it should be quite easy. Okay, and then just going to keep wrapping. Okay, so I have actually gone round it 3 times and then tied it off at the bottom, just to give me a little bit of extra to grip onto the needle felting wool. Okay, so I have a nice Christmas red that I'm going to use to go around my garland, or around my ring. So I'll take off a thin piece, and I'm going to start at the bottom because that's going to give me a little bit of extra thickness to start off with. Please mind the wire. This isn't the easiest thing to do now. So if I wrap it round over itself, that might help. Okay, I just felt that a little bit just to get a grip, as it were. Pull it reasonably tight. Okay, and then take another strip and start again. Okay, so I decided that my little red ring would look nicer with some ribbon tied around it. So I've literally wound some ribbon all the way round and then made a loop and tied a little bow in the top. Okay, so putting on her head, she's got her arms and her legs, so I've put a little bit around the neck wire, and I'm just going to felt that in, and then I can build up her head from there. Okay, so now we can build up the head. I like to screw it up as small as I possibly can, just to give me an idea of what that's how big that's gonna be, and I think that's a bit too much, so take off a bit. And you're going to need, when you put it on, my suggestion would be to put it from the back and bring it forward, because you're going to need most of the face coming forward. You're going to need the chin, so the head will follow round from the neck on the back. It will bulb out just a little bit, but not as much as the chin and the face will. So we'll just attach that there for now, and then come around the front, and you can bring it all to the front a bit more. I think probably I took too much off when I took some off. Don't forget to leave a little bit of neck on show. She needs a bit of a neck. And just keep working at the shape of the head. You can always add bits to it. You want to put the nose in, and you want to give her some cheekbones and things. So just start off by just getting that round head shape. You can see how we're bringing the chin in now. Right, so her face is still quite soft and spongy at the front here, but that's because I haven't shaped it yet. So I'm going to have a go at shaping her face now. And I'm going to put her eyes in. Her eyes are going to go about here. One there. And one here. And then I'm going to take the bridge of the nose in, because the bridge of your nose is only a little bit more protruding from your eyes. And then that's where her nose is going to be. And then her mouth. Okay, so then we can shape the chin and the cheekbones. They're going to come in quite a bit. Okay, so excuse me. So we know that's where her lips are going, and so she's got a chin down here. Just a small chin, and it's a bit soft, my chin, so I'm going to just add a little bit to it. And I've got to be very careful because I'm so used to doing witches with big chins and big noses. I don't want to make her have a big chin and a big nose. Right, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just give her a little bit of a cheekbone, and then her nose. And we'll give her some ruby red lips just because she is a holly fairy. I'll give her a little nose now. Not too big a nose. And I'm going to start up here on the forehead, get rid of the fluffy end bits, and then work my way down, pulling it into the eye sockets, making that bridge, and then I take it up to where the nostrils would be. And then you can start to just put the rest into place. Okay, so to make my holly leaves, I'm going to take some green carded wool and flatten it out a bit. Sort of into a leaf shape as best as I can. Right, and then using this one I'm going to just sharpen up the edges. So you've got a point there, and then going in sideways will enable me to get a holly leaf sort of shape. And then I'm going to take a darker bit, a very thin bit, put some veins in. And I'm just going to trim the back off a little bit because it's going to be a wee bit furry. Okay, so what my general idea is I have got 2 smaller ones which I'm going to needle felt into her. And when she's finished and she's got all her leaves around her, I'll put a row of berries around her waist. So I'll carry on making the rest of my leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to make some berries. And to do that, I'm just going to take a bit of red fluff and keep working it into a little ball. And finish it off by giving it a little roll like so, and they will, when I finish dressing her, go around her waist like a little belt. Okay, so I've put the berries all the way around her body like a little belt, and now I'm going to make her some shoes. So using the red, I'm literally just going to wrap this around and then felt it in to turn it into a little pair of boots. Okay, so now I've finished wrapping the ribbon around the ring, I've decided I'm going to make it into more of an oblong shape so that the fairy can sit in the middle and hold on with both her hands, and that way it looks like she's swinging. With 3 leaves I've got left over, and I've got a few berries left over as well, so what I'm going to do is put these together to make a little sprig of holly, and then I'm going to put those probably up around the top here just as a decoration. So I'm going to put those together, and then using some green felt, I'll felt it around the actual wire to hold it into place. Might even put a little bit of glue there just to give it a bit of extra strength. Okay, so I'm going to give her some little brown eyes, and as I haven't got eyes small enough, I'm going to start off by putting some white in there first, and then the brown, and then a little bit of black. Okay, so I've fiddled and messed about with her curly hair, and she's got her little face now. Hopefully she's not scary, she's a little cute fairy. I'm going to put her some wings on, and then when I've done the wings I'm going to attach her to her swing, and that will be the end of our work on our little pixie. So to do her wings I'm going to have white. I'm going to use white, and I'm going to use dark green, the dark green, and I'm going to use some red to give it its colours. Okay, so I'm going to get the wool ready now, and then you'll be able to see how I make her wings. Okay, so I'm going to take my white, break some of this off. And you want it quite feathery. About so big. I'm going to spread it out, and then I'm going to put some more on over the top, make it a little bit wider. Okay, so kind of like makes you think of snow. Okay. And now I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put the red, some red over the top. Actually, I think I'm not. I'm going to put green. I'm going to have the dark green. For her wings, so it's a bit of a contrast to the paler green that I made the leaves out of. I'm going to tear this bit in half and then take the ends off so it's more feathered. Don't want it quite as long. And then what I'm going to do is I have one of my dog's brushes here, and I'm just going to brush it in. Just to help it to merge in just a little bit. Okay. I think I'll use this one down the middle just to help that fluff go where I want it to. Hold it in place in the middle kind of thing. And then with my little bit of red, and then of course I'm going to have to ruche it up. In order to make the wings. Just a little bit. And that's going on her back. So and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this flesh colour down through the middle of her wings. Pull her hair out the way. Okay, so put that flesh colour there. It helps to make it look like the wings are actually coming out of her back rather than just stuck on. It also helps to bind all of the wool together, to be honest. The wings are independently coming out of her back. Okay. And I will just give those a little trim. I can find my little get any of the loose ends off. And there she has her wings. There we go. And I will put her in her swing. And there she is, sitting in her sling.